let's start off with our favorite team in the NBA. The slop season champions, the Los Angeles Lakers. So what we have on the board right here from Instagram.
I didn't even see
At Mock Trades on Instagram.
This is the best. Hold on, before we get into the trade, this is the best account ever. Please go follow this account.
Yes.
Almost all of these come from at Mock Trades on Instagram. They're my favorite account ever. They're incredible content.
Okay. Well, this is my favorite trade because it's your classic 7-for-3 trade, I believe.
No picks. No picks.
Good enough.
By the way, I'm going to appoint myself the trade checker, just making sure that these actually work in the machine while we're going, and we'll see if any of them do.
Sam is the checks and balances of the factors regime that we have here.
I'm keeping the trades running on time.
Gotta make sure that it works in the machine before we read it on here. I'm sure half of these won't, but that's what makes them so fun. So this trade is the Los Angeles Lakers acquiring Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Alex Caruso. So they got a former Laker back in Alex Caruso, DeMar DeRozan, and Zach LaVine. They've wanted both of them for 3 years now. So they finally get both of those guys, DeMar on an expiring, Zach on a massive contract. And the Chicago Bulls get D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Cam Reddish, Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt, Christian Wood, and Jackson Hayes.
I almost wish we had the comments next to this because I'm 100% sure there was some sort of Laker fan between the ages of 10 and 7, who knows, saying, I don't know, I don't think we can give up Reddish.
He's referencing the Anthony Edwards video Anthony Edwards is going to be a Laker in 2 years because he wants to play with Cam Reddish.
Reddish is the GOAT recruiter.
So guys, would it hurt your feelings to know that this trade does not work in the trade machine? Allow me to read
why.
Hard cap. This trade would result in the Lakers crossing the tax apron of $172 million while hard capped. Therefore, this trade is not possible. Remove $18.2 million of incoming value to remain below the hard cap. It also does not trade match at all. It's $18.6 million over the trade matching. So,
well,
okay,
that's the reason that this deal wouldn't go through, right?
I've pulled up the comments on this post.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
All the comments are saying, we need to trade AD instead.
Send AD home.
That rules, man. That's so good.
I was not expecting that.
Best player.
We need to keep Reeves and trade AD. I've seen 4 separate comments.
Right. They should do that.
That's so
They would
awesome.
make it work financially too.
Yeah, it might. I don't
Wait, Sam, punch that in. See if it works if they do it that way.
Okay, yeah, let me adjust it.
Throw in AD instead of Austin Reeves.
Yeah,
I think it might. Salary difference wise, it might work.
I think it's funny that
$40 million. Hold on, let me try.
Wait,
Caruso's
Sam, this works.
Okay, it does work. The only thing, there's one thing holding it up. It's that Anthony Davis cannot be traded the year he signed a max contract extension. Because obviously, why is that rule ever? That rule has never been applied ever once. I'd also like to point out something that I noticed while Trill was reading them off and I was putting them in the machine. So the Chicago side, they are in exact order of how much they make, except for Cam Reddish, meaning that whoever made this trade was like, well, you got to get Cam Reddish in there to make the value good.
He moved up the column.
Yeah.
They were like, well, put Cam towards the top. Did you see him in the in-season tournament?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think it's an order of popular. People definitely know who Cam Reddish is more than Jared Vanderbilt. I think it's
Rui Hachimura.
Well,
unless you're in Japan.
Yeah, excluding Japan. I think that's Russell has a weird cult. The D'Lo stands.
Yeah,
But Jared Vanderbilt's above Christian Wood. I feel like Christian Wood's got to be more well known than Jared Vanderbilt. He averaged 20 points a game in multiple seasons.
No. because Vanderbilt played for the Lakers on a playoff.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
That's
he
way
did
more
play in the playoffs.
important.
Yeah, and Christian Wood has famously never made the playoffs. Every team he goes to, it fucking sucks immediately.
The worst vibes in the league just always follow him.
Until he goes to this Bulls team, that's gonna turn it around.
Yeah.
They need the locker room change.
No, the Bulls ownership would shoot this deal down because he's never even made the play-in. They would be like, "Sorry, we have a mandate. We have to make the play-in every single season." So this is an incredible trade.
So why does it list out?
That's why the Bulls management would shoot it down. Actually,
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
So anyone who's listening on audio, it also lists out for just Zach LaVine and no one else that he has a 5-year, $215 million contract, which makes it sound like he's being sign and traded, and he's not.
No, he's already a year and a half into the deal.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Sam. It's completely inconsistent on the @mock trades trade.
Yeah, they're all
One
just
player will randomly have their salary listed. No one else will. It's only ever one.
They probably just put the biggest sticker number to me. But also, I looked it up. Christian Wood played 12 games for the 18-19 Bucks, who I believe were the 1 seed. So he's a winner.
Yeah, but he got cut before the season ended.
And then they made the playoffs.
So the Lakers just got to get Wood out of there, and then they'll be the 1 seed.
Exactly.
There we go.
There you go.
Easy money.
That's what turns the season around. It's the RJ Barrett effect that's happening.
He
on
got
the Knicks
cut
right
for the GOAT, Tim Frazier.
now. Penn State legend. Let's go.
And
right,
this is trade number 1.
And we're
What's
10
that?
minutes in, and we've been
This is
through one
trade
of
number
20.
one.
All right, we're
It's
getting to the
over
second one. I'll pull up the second one. I think the next one's a little bit more realistic, and I might have just thrown it in there to see someone get happy. And he's not even looking at the screen right now.
Oh, boo! Boo!
I knew Will was
boo.
going to hate this
I
one.
shut this down. Boo.
The most
And-
important player traded at the trade
Third.
deadline, Kelly Olynyk, moves to the Boston Celtics along with Simone Fontecchio, Chris Dunn, making $2.5 million this year. If you didn't know that, for Peyton Pritchard, Luke Cornett, O'Shea Brissett, Delano Banton, Svi Mikhailuk, and 2 future second-round picks. Sam, are you saying yes to this deal?
This trade feels racist. I know, like it's not, but it feels racist. I am also nearly positive, just off the top of my head, that this trade does not work because I know I've done the salary matching on Kelly Olynyk, and I think you like literally can't even get to Kelly Olynyk's number, let alone the god Chris Dunn.
I have,
Who's-
I have a
who's this-
question.
Yeah,
Is Simone Fontecchio an NBA intern? Because we see every other player's salary, but then Simone Fontecchio has no salary listed for some reason. Every
Can
other player.
He's a two-way intern.
Can I tell you something? Simone Fontecchio has the 3rd highest contract in this deal of 8 guys.
Well, I do just want to point out, I don't think that the Celtics can acquire Simone Fontecchio because I believe he's Italian, and or he at least played in Italy.
Yeah.
And the last time you guys acquired an Italian, he immediately tore his ACL, and his career is now over because he's on the Detroit Pistons and Danilo Gallinari. So
Also,
bad vibes to have an Italian in Boston, I think.
okay, so this one actually does work, which is insane to me. I mean, now it is your classic 6-for-3 trade. So I don't
We're
know.
moving in the right direction.
Also, it's a classic trade where I believe the Celtics might get the 2 best players in this trade.
Definitely get the 2 best players.
I was
Chris
gonna say-
Dunn is so much better than Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah, I was like, Chris Dunn has actually been. Zach Lowe called him the best guard defender on earth on his podcast the other day.
That's a little silly, but
Look, do I watch the Utah Jazz all the time? No, I'm just gonna take Zach Lowe's word for it, like every other writer that votes for all. By the way, did you guys see that Zach was like, I'm giving up my All-Star, All NBA vote because I
give
don't.
me a fucking
Yeah,
break. I'm not
that process
risk doing the jack off motion listening to that. Like everyone talks about that. Like, oh, I'm sorry you can't be friends with the players, man. I'm sorry your job is so fucking hard. Like, boo fucking who? Like, give me a fucking break. Like it, like especially like guys like Zach Lowe who just have all the juice in the world and get paid like millions of dollars. Like, grow the fuck up. Like,
Also, just want to point out, like, has anyone ever gotten mad at Zach over his All NBA and All Star teams? They're always like pretty objective, I would say. Like, I don't really think there's anything like overly outlandish. He's not like putting in someone on the All NBA team that doesn't deserve it at all. Do you think? And like the only thing that I can think of here, and I know that he's like, I agree that they shouldn't tie the All NBA. I think they shouldn't tie the All NBA stuff to contracts because it would just be funny if you could just supermax like Kyle Kuzma. Like, we would just have some really funny, like we have funny contracts now, like Bradley Beal and Ben Simmons and stuff like that. Sorry, Will, but those guys at one point were really good and like kind of had to earn their contracts. It would be funny if we just had like 7 Tobias Harris contracts.
I was
But
gonna say,
that's
could you
what they
imagine
should
if Tobias
allow them
Harris
to
was
do.
on a Supermax right now? Because Elton absolutely would have done it if they had let him.
Well, look, Elton's trying to get deals done right now. He's trying to acquire Zach LaVine and DeJounte Murray as we're speaking, and Daryl's having to lock him in a closet so that he can't
I
get to
actually
the
heard that
phone.
Elton is the mastermind behind @mocktrades on NBA Instagram.
Putting feelers out there. I was like, all right, let's see what they think of this one.
And I just looked it up. Zach Lowe does have a preposterous All NBA vote. He gave Jaylen Brown an All NBA vote.
Oh my god! And he got him that contract.
So
So
therefore,
thank you, Zach Lowe.
So actually, he put a bad contract on the Celtics. book.
Okay, hold on. He might be. Are we considering he's a precog though? Because he might have looked into the future and see that Jaylen Brown was going to play better the next year. Is he still All NBA? No, but it's closer.
So you're saying he's better this year, and he's not a free agent after the season because you were able to extend him. So it's actually a good thing that contract happened.
Typical Boston media mafia.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe they've infiltrated so heavily on this podcast. It makes me sick. But yeah, I don't think this trade's happening. I just had to throw it in there because I know that Sam said Kelly Olynyk's the most important player that gets traded at this
I would love. I would love for this to happen, but something about the presentation for me, like it feels
if you're
like
listening, Kelly Olynyk and Peyton Pritchard are the images.
Yeah,
here.
It feels like that video that the guy took of the guys outside the TAM that were like,
Yeah.
"Go home to your mother."
Exactly.
Like it feels like the
Also,
trade version of that.
Side by side, they kind of look like the Bostonian version of the McPoyles from It's Always Sunny.
McPoyle trade.